Our dog Scamp is a Lowchen, or in French, un chien petit lion, a little lion dog. Because he doesn't shed his fur, we have to go to the groomer about 4 times a year. Here you can see the before picture, and now we're going to take you with us to the groomer to collect him. Scamp has his fur cut in a small nearby town called Polyestre. It's an attractive little town which is particularly well known for its rooster, which you'll see shortly as we negotiate the roundabout. As you can see, the rooster has a very amusing, startled look on its face. The French word for chicken is une poule, but we're in the region of French Catalonia, where French is the main language spoken and also the official language, but many of the native Catalans speak Catalan at home with their families. In Catalan, a chicken is un pollastre. So you can see clearly how the town acquired its name, Polyestre, from pollastre. It remains a mystery as to why any town should be named Chicken, whatever the language. Here you can see that we're approaching the main roundabout in the town where, lo and behold, a cheeky rooster crows proudly. Before we go any further, I'd like to give you some vocabulary. In French, a man who grooms dogs is called un toiletteur. A woman who grooms dogs is called une toiletteuse. And the noun for dog grooming is le toilettage. Scamp loves going for a haircut, but he is always excited to come home. I like this charming little notice, which says, "Please think about closing the gate to prevent me from escaping. Thank you." Yes, he was pleased to see us.
It's ready. C'est beau. Merci. C'est beau. Bonjour.
Scamp's toiletteuse is named Nellie. Nellie was recommended to us some years ago. She does a beautiful cut and Scamp loves her. As you can see, Nellie is wearing a mask, although she works alone in her own home. She's not wearing it from choice, but from fear of receiving a fine or of having her business shut down. Anybody who has tried to cut a dog themselves, as we have done in the past, knows that it's not only a skillful job, but very hard, hot work, and we feel sorry for anybody having to work in these appalling conditions. If you're in the area and have need of her, I'm just flashing up her business card. Scamp has chewed his favourite toy to pieces, so we're off to get him a new one, and to show you inside the main discount retailer in France, called Gifi. Here in France, at this time, end of April 2021, our lords and masters have decreed that we have to be confined again in the 3rd lockdown since March 2020. The basic current restriction is that we cannot move outside a 10-kilometre radius from our home unless we fall into one of the categories for exemption. If you go outside the 10 kilometres, you have to fill in a form. The initial announcement this time was that there was going to be a 2-page form which had to be filled in. That is to say, the 1-page form, which we had to fill in previous lockdowns, had now morphed into twice as many paragraphs to read and twice as much paper to print. This, of course, is very French. Immediately after the announcement of the 2-page form, the French made it clear that they had had enough. The outcry was that France had become the land of absurdities, which they dubbed Absurdistan. Absurdistan. Following this, the government quickly backtracked to this 1-page form which you see here. Polyestre was outside our 10-kilometre limit, so we filled in the form, choosing the option pour bénéficier de prestations de services, to benefit from the provision of services. So here we are just about to go into Gifi. I should tell you at this point that you can take your dog into most shops in France except food shops. He even has his own chariot mat, which we keep in the back of the car. He loves travelling in his chariot, but as you can see, he turns round so as to always face forward. Depending on the shop, you can sometimes just walk the dog in, but in the larger stores they insist that the dog be carried, or they don't mind if you use one of their trolleys. Funnily enough, a trolley in French is un chariot, meaning a chariot, and for Scamp it is indeed a chariot. Gifi is a shop that sells almost everything except food and clothes. However, as you can see, there is an awful lot of red tape around the shop. You're not allowed to select anything behind the red tape, which the government has decreed as being non-essential goods. So, for example, it is deemed dangerous that you should be able to buy a chair for inside your home, but you can buy a chair for your garden. As you can see here, it is safe for you to buy a toy for a dog, but far too dangerous for you to buy your child a toy. Is it hot? Sorry, you are not allowed to buy a fan. Go outside and sit on your garden chair. You know, it amazes us that there are so many people that do not see that this is theatre. Also, in our video episode 7, during the second release from lockdown, we showed you the signs in small shopkeepers' windows complaining bitterly about the fact that small businesses had been shut down by decree, but larger businesses had been allowed to trade. They certainly have our sympathy. But bear in mind the damage which is also being done to larger businesses who, all of a sudden, can only sell half of their stock. This will inevitably end in disaster. These days we hate shopping, so to get the bad taste of the experience out of our mouths, we took ourselves off to a local wooded area which Scamp adores, although he still likes shopping because he can ride around in his chariot without a mask. It's been fun making this video, and we look forward to making the next video in Absurdistan in the sun. Please subscribe and click the notification bell. Bye bye and bisous.